Well, welcome to Creative Originals by Roxine. This is lesson number 2, Leaves. We're going to start out by doing some simple leaves. I noticed when I was making the video that my hand tends to hide my brush, so bear with me a little bit as we work on this. You're going to take your brush and you're going to hold it straight up and down and barely touch your paper. And as you pull up, you're going to press down the body of the bristles of the brush against your paper. When you do that, it's going to flare out the bristles and you'll get a bigger area. So you start out narrow, wider, and then narrow again. So you lightly touch, press down, pull up. Lightly touch, press down, pull up, as you can see. If you'd like to keep a little bit of paper in between your sections, that's fine. I like to fill it in a little bit more. This is longer. So we lightly touch, pull down, pull up, and then just kind of close in the center. Practice another one. Lightly touch, push down, pull up. The tapered brush is a round brush that's not completely rounded on the end. It has a little bit of bristles coming out that form a gentle point. This is the type of brush that is easier to make leaves. You do have your plain round brush. You can still make a leaf with a round brush, but it's going to be a little more blunt. You won't have quite the point at the top and the bottom of your leaf if you use a brush that has a little bit more of a pointed, tapered end. Any size pointed, tapered end brush is going to make leaves. I'm going to go to a different brush now. This brush has a much sharper point to it, as you can see. It really tapers down. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a little bit more paint and water. And we're going to start with a gentle touching, pushing down and pulling up. Much larger leaf with this brush is bigger. And then gently fill in if you choose to do that. You can straighten up the edges a little bit. It's nice to leave a little bit of extra pigment at the tip and at the base of your leaf. Fill up the bristles of that brush. That's a good thing to do. Gentle touch, push down, pull up. Again, gentle, push down, pull up. So I did a right side and a left side. Okay, now just practice a few more times until you feel like you're getting that hang of pressing down and pulling up as you're moving the brush. Here you go. There's some samples of some leaves. Now this one is more full and then has a smaller tip to it. So when we use this brush, it's going to be a little more blunt, and you'll be able to see that. Gentle, push down, pull up. It makes a little bit thicker and a little bit more broad leaf. Okay. So I usually don't pull very far with one that has a smaller tip to it. There you go. Okay. So now you should, I turned the paper around so we'd have a little bit more room, but there you go. And you can kind of see how nice. You can also make flames with this style. Okay, yep, that's pretty cool. Good. As you know, it takes practice. Don't give up. Just keep practicing, and it will get in your brain, and it's a muscle memory, and you'll remember the technique. And those are the 3 brushes that I showed you here. Okay? Then I will move on to the next step, and we're going to actually turn the paper over or get another sheet of paper and turn it over. And we're going to make a stem with leaves that come off the stem. Ransom 140-pound watercolor paper is good. If you have another style that you like, by all means use it. We're going to be using some different colors. We're going to use a green, a yellow, a blue. The blue is over, will be over out of the frame. You'll see it a little bit, but we're going to use the green and make a stem. Then I'm going to take green pigment and we're going to make a leaf at the top of the stem. My mistake. We're starting at the bottom. Excuse me. Make your bottom leaf. And once you get the leaf made, come over and get a little bit of the yellow that we put on our tray and dot that in at the bottom of the leaf. And coming up to the point a little bit, it adds some character to that leaf. Go to the opposite side of the stem. Let's make another one. There we go. And then take a little bit of yellow again and add some gentle dots of paint. Don't paint it, just basically dot it on. Let it bloom down into that green that's wet. And you'll get a unique look with your watercolor. Sometimes you just have to take a breath, let the watercolor do what it wants, and you'll have these happy surprises when you're done. And just leave it alone. One thing that people do with watercolor, they tend to overpaint. If you can just make your stroke, relax with it, let it do what it's going to do, and then add just a touch here or there with added color. It's all you need to do. You don't have to overpaint it. That's really pretty. I like this one. Now we'll get to that top leaf. And I came down. You should know how to do it in both directions, how to paint it in both directions. That's a good thing to do. It helps your brain, helps you remember. Okay. Now we're going to be doing the same sort of thing, but we're going to be using more of a brown stem, and we're going to be using some blue paint as well. Now you won't be able to see the blue paint on my tray. It's out of frame, but it's over off to the right there. And I always like to have a little bit of paint on my palette so I can grab it quickly. And it's wet, which is important. All right, so let's make our first leaf. Here's where I start at the bottom but decide to go to the top. There you go. So we go at the top, point it up, and then reach over and get some blue and dot it in at the base and at the tip. Beautiful leaves when you do this. You get such a variegation of color. Same thing here. And back in. And then a little touch of blue. It's pretty. All right. As you see, you lightly touch and then push down and pull up. The other side now. Gentle push, pull. Gentle push, pull. You get that tip. Add a little bit of blue in there and let it flow. A little more water to the green. There we go. And let's put a little bit of blue in that. Okay, that's looking pretty. All right, the next stem, we're going to be using brown. This will enable you to see a leaf that's starting to die and fall is coming in, and this way you'll have a little bit of change to the green. You'll start seeing some of the oranges and browns start occurring in the leaves. Excuse me. So point, push down, pull up. Point, push down, pull up. Grab a little bit of brown and dot your leaf. Don't overdo it. Just a little bit. Come on down. It's good. Great. That's good. I like the brown tones in the leaves. You can also use a little bit of red if you'd like, and you're going to get a unique brown when you use red. It's going to blend with the green. Looks a little more fallish. Okay. So that's how we do. That looks good. All right. One more leaf. So as you can see, as I come up and I incorporate my green into my brown, it's going to bloom and bleed into that brown, which gives you a beautiful, beautiful leaf. All right, there you go. Practice, practice, practice. And thank you so much for watching my video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.